there's nobody that I'm rooting against. There's nobody that I don't even feel like I have someone to root for. I have some names that I'd like to see, but at the end of the day, every single person I would be happy walking away with this event. And we're already, looks like, getting set up and getting ready. Again, we're going to have our match here to start things out. We're going to have Ty up against Mateusz. We haven't featured Ty for a while. It's been day one where we featured Ty. So has continuously been progressing through this event, has not lost a single match except for one going into the second day of competition. He's going to be piloting that Sylveon VMAX deck with the Arceus line, also playing a bunch of other Rapid Strike cards, utilizing that Rapid Strike Search Octillery. So we got some accomplishments here for both players. It looks like not much there actually for Ty, and it looks like Elite Cup top 4 is what I saw there over for Mateusz, as our archetypes will be shown there. That Rapid Strike Urshifu, Arceus V-Star Sylveon VMAX deck up against Mateusz's very straightforward deck that we've expected to see this weekend, that Mew VMAX deck.
Mew VMAX, one of the best, most powerful decks in the format. No surprise to see it making top cut at an international championships. The prize cards are being set out. A couple Cramomatics, a Battle VIP pass on Mateusz's side. That Peonia in the prizes on the left for Ty. Not too big of a deal because nothing else really important is prized, it
Yeah,
seems.
I think that's the first time we've actually seen Peonia in the prize cards.
Yep.
Maybe one of the few times we have this weekend, as looks like we are all set up and ready. Nothing too important that you would really need to go out of your way to grab with that Peonia, but we are ready to get into this. Are you guys excited about top 8?
Yes, very excited. Can't wait to see what's going to happen in this one. Ty starts with that Rapid Strike Urshifu Fee, Mateusz with the Oricorio, and kicks things off right away with a Battle VIP pass. What more could you want?
Well, you know what more I would like on first turn with Battle VIP pass? 2 Battle VIP pass.
Yeah.
I think I like that too, and it looks like there is already a second one in hand as well, so we'll be able to instantly get 4 basic Pokemon out into play.
So good.
Wow. I can't stress enough how good this card is in a deck that can be so aggro. We don't see this card being played in every deck because it is high risk, high reward, but in a deck like Mew where you're going through your deck so fast, this card ends up being the perfect card to play. We see it there. There's a second Battle VIP pass.
Exactly
we'll be able to get
how you
out
want
more
to
Pokemon.
Start your top 8. This is perfect for Mateusz. So many cards can be drawn this turn with Fusion Strike system.
Yeah, it looks like eyeing up potentially another Genesect. It looks like there was 1 Genesect in the prizes, so we'll not have access to all 4. But as we've seen, usually the benches are looking like a Meloetta and Oricorio. 3 Genesect seems to be the sweet spot that we see get set up. But ooh, looks like we're actually going to see a Mew and a Meloetta get grabbed off of this. Fairly interesting, especially noting that Ty has noted that Path to Peak is the way to really navigate this matchup. When you have a guaranteed turn of abilities to start things out, you'd think maybe you want to go a little bit more aggressive and try to just draw through your deck, try to find a Rotom Phone, maybe to put a Path to the Peak, or excuse me, a way to get out of Path to the Peak on top, and from there kind of set yourself up.
Yeah, maybe Mateusz already has another Genesect available. Of course, we know Mateusz does play that Pumpkaboo. We've seen that a few times. That Pumpkin Pit ability, when you put it onto your bench, you can discard a Stadium card in play. A great counter to the Path to the Peak that we know Ty's going to go with.
Yeah, but not giving himself that open bench slot, which makes me wonder, like, if you left that open, right, you have the potential for that. Usually Ty's not going to be taking a knockout right away. It just depends, again, if you leave this Oricorio active, it does open up that opportunity. So looks like we are going to
second
get things going. Yeah, we got second Fusion Strike system. This hand is looking excellent as well. Has a Lesser Sparkle for the following turn, and even a Fusion Strike Energy as well. As it actually looks like Ty has the Battle VIP pass as well in hand.
Very nice.
He's playing 4 copies as well. So interesting to see that both of these players are playing a Battle VIP pass to get things set up.
Very solid. Can go set up a Sylveon V potentially here. Maybe get that Galarian Moltres down, because that is a great way to recover some energy and also potentially hit for weakness. And then also set up an Arceus V so that you can get into the Arceus V-Star on the following turn.
Yeah, just checking through the deck, trying to see exactly what to grab. It looks like eyeing up that Sylveon, a great way to end your turn off with that Dream Gift ability. It lets you search your deck for any single item card, but in doing so, it ends your turn. So it is a great way to end off your first turn, especially when you want to grab the cards to get yourself. Mateusz not running any hand disruptions, so we'll 100% guaranteed have that item card for the following turn as Ultra Ball will go ahead and search the deck for another Pokemon. Have to imagine we might see something like another Arceus come out. That could be scary to lose your Arceus and not have access to that V-Star power the following turn. And usually we see something like an Evolution Incense or an Ultra Ball get grabbed off of the Stream Gift to end. But having options here is solid. Having that Urshifu in the active, though, not the best, especially when it can get knocked out so easily.
Yeah, pretty easy to KO for the Mew deck. It would hit it for like 400 damage with a Techno Blast, a Cross Fusion Strike Blast play. That's pretty good, though. The Fan of Waves could slow Mateusz down a little bit, now forcing a, a Lesser Sparkle or to get back into a Double Turbo Energy.
It looks like we are going to see that Dark Asset ability draw things back up to 6. So playing 2 copies of that Crobat V. So a lot of interesting copies so far to see in this list. To point out, a 2-1 Sylveon VMAX line, you'd expect it to be maybe a little bit thicker, but is really just prioritizing utilizing this as an Arceus engine and sort of hitting for weakness and following where needed.
Ty holds off on attaching Rapid Strike Energy to Sylveon, really looking for an attachment to an Arceus this turn. Playing Marnie, going to get 5 cards, and I think really wants to find either a Basic Energy or a Double Turbo. And you know what? Why not just have both types of Basic Energy to choose from here? The Water and the Darkness, either one can get thrown down on an Arceus.
Yeah, excellent. Has the Ultra Ball as well for the following turn. Can always end it off with a Dream Gift on the Sylveon, so there are plenty of options to work with. It looks like eyeing up if the Ultra Ball is going to be played down, and more importantly, where this attachment is going.
Yeah, active Arceus or the benched one are the only 2 choices. I gotta feel like, well, I was gonna say throw it onto the bench, but putting it in the active, maybe if that's just calling that you think Mateusz is going to have to use an escape rope this turn, that does open this Arceus up to easily being KO'd by a Melodious Echo.
Yeah, excellent hand here for Mateusz, just looking at it quickly. He's got the energy, the Mew VMAX, the stadium,
nice.
If there was a path. Yep, there we go. Classic Sylveon Dream Gift material. Evolution Incense going to be the grab. Putting that into hand, we'll have that guaranteed for the following turn, as Mateusz is going to kick things off just like that with the VMAX, the Double Turbo Energy. I would like to see the stadium get held here because you want more options for path, but...
Oh, and it even has the Power Tablet already. A modifier you definitely needed. Does play the stadium, still has plenty, and also has that Pumpkaboo potentially, so ways to get rid of them. And I think Mateusz just recognizes, I want to push my advantage here and get a quick 2-prize KO.
Yeah, not even using that first Fusion Strike system. Going to fill up to 3 with the Rose Tower. Excellent way to draw even more cards and get to the deck, and found a lot of thinnable cards. Has 2 Quick Balls as well as an Ultra Ball, so not going to grab anything there off the Quick Ball. Going to give yourself even more cards to draw with that Fusion Strike system ability on Genesect. Just leaving the Power Tablet out to make sure you know the damage modifiers are there. A lot of cards are getting played every turn, so it is definitely important to note and understand what is being played, when it is being played, and what modifiers are on the board, because things get wacky, right? You have the -20 with the Double Turbo, and now you have the +30, so here we go. First Fusion Strike system.
Looking for a switch. There's a Cramomatic, but is there even an item in hand? There is an Ultra Ball, so Cramomatic can discard that search card and try to find a switching option. That was a really tough Fusion Strike system. A couple of energy cards and 2 Boss's Orders. It is a heads. That's a huge hit for Mateusz. Now switch can be grabbed, and that can be 2 prizes right away on turn 2.
Yeah, that is extremely big, especially because there are a lot of cards in Mateusz's hand that cannot be thinned out. Like that Boss's Orders you want to keep around for later, as I'm almost certain the switch will be grabbed off of that Cramomatic. Having 2 prizes, though, is a little bit problematic for maybe later on in the game, but...
they're not too bad of cards to take off your prizes, though, because they become access to whatever combo piece you're trying to pull off for whatever that situation may be.
So 1 Fusion Strike system used already, has the switch. Nice. Going to go ahead and play that nice base set art switch. Like to see the old retro stuff coming out here. And the second Fusion Strike system will draw 2 cards. And look at that, 4 unplayable cards were in that hand. That was a very big flip on the Chromatic.
Yeah, it does, I think, could have gone with the Boss's Orders theoretically, but you want to knock out the Arceus in the active spot here. So Mateusz chooses to do that and now takes the first 2 prizes. Tie on the back foot already. Do they have the pieces to pull off an Arceus attack this turn? And Ultra Ball makes me think it is very much possible.
I think there is an option for Raihan to potentially
also
come out.
plays the Melanie too.
Yeah, I think that hit the discard pile turn 1, unfortunately. So looks like there is there Raihan in there? I don't think I see it. So yeah, that makes me wonder attaching to the active, but it looks like at minimum we'll potentially be able to get out the Arceus V-Star to get things powered up. But again, being back an energy attachment can be pretty detrimental.
Yeah, energy attachments are very important with Arceus decks. This list seems like it's very reliant on, getting a bunch of energies in play with the Trinity Nova. Maybe Ty has to go for like a Trinity Charge potentially this turn. Well, that's not any longer going to be an option once you evolve to the Arceus V-Star.
Yeah, able to now use that V-Star power. I see an Avery in hand as well. That could be good
really
to limit the bench. Yeah, Avery is a very solid card against this Mew deck, against a lot of these setup decks that require the bench to be full in order to fully function. As we will see, it looks like an Evolution Incense can grab Crobat VMAX.
Nice.
That is one of these powerful attackers. You don't expect a lot. You want to play the Crobat because it allows you to draw cards. And additionally, you can go ahead and VMAX it and have a powerful attacker, that Max Cutter, dealing 180 damage for 3 energy.
Yeah, very solid. You're playing Crobat, so might as well play the VMAX. Very good, especially in this matchup. Ty able to make use of Mateusz's Rose Tower, very nice, and does play the Avery. Mateusz gonna just discard these 2 one-prize Pokemon, and now Ty gets to draw 3 cards from the top.
It hasn't even used the V-Star power yet, so still has access to that.
Yep.
And that's actually very big. Has the Pal Pad to put back the Melody into the deck, and that means that can get grabbed along with the double turbo energy off of this V-Star power. All you're really missing at this point is maybe a way to get a Path to the Peak in play and really try to slow down Mateusz's strategy.
Yep. So after playing Avery, is going to put a couple supporters back, just options for the following turn. So here Ty can use the V-Star power and really just try to set up the Moltres on the bench this turn, it feels like. Does bench Remoraid as well, wanting to get to that Rapid Strike Search Octillery at some point seems very good.
Yeah, so now this Water Energy attachment play to the active is making a lot more sense. That it's all been routed out. Able to put back in that Melody to the deck, and I'm almost certain that will be grabbed. Eyeing up a Path to the Peak as well, so maybe he wants to go down a slower route, but I assume at the end of the day, putting on aggression has got to be important.
Yep, already played the Avery, so we can't see the Melanie this turn.
Oh, correct. Yeah.
So can just set it up for the future, potentially. There's really not a great option, it feels like, this turn for Ty. If this Arceus V-Star was just a regular Arceus V, you could go for the Trinity Charge, get a bunch of energies on, split them between the Crobat and the Moltres. Right now, it's honestly just kind of a tough choice of what you even do.
Yeah, it looks like eyeing up a couple of cards off that V-Star power. It looked like Path to the Peak was being looked at, so definitely a very solid grab. You do turn off some of your abilities in play, like your Dire Flame Wings, to power up your Moltres, which is a very solid attacker in this matchup, especially after your opponent has already gotten rid of one of their Meloetta. So this is kind of where things are going to get a little complicated, and then we are actually going to see, it looks like just signaling the attachment to the Moltres.
Yep.
The Path to the Peak will go ahead and get rid of the Rose Tower. Ty is not going to be very happy when Mateusz already has the counter stadium in hand and immediately fanning it to the top of the hand understands, I want to get this out of play as soon as possible.
I mean, even if there wasn't a stadium, there's a couple of those Fog Crystals that could have gotten the Pumpkaboo, so plenty of options for Mateusz. Also gets the Mew VMAX into play, gets another energy on it, so now Mateusz is just free to switch between these 2 Mews and go back and forth between them for cross-fusion strikes every single turn.
Yeah, this is going to be a big turn to see if this Mew is able to do enough to take a knockout onto this Arceus V-Star, because then from there, it's very easy to knock out a Galarian Moltres when it has 190 HP after using that Aura Burn attack to take a knockout. So
yeah, Mateusz needs to find 3 damage modifiers between Choice Belt and then also the Power Tablets. If Mateusz can do that, Cross-Fusion Strike, copying Technoblast, deals exactly 280 to knock out an Arceus V-Star.
Yeah, the problem with this hand is there are a lot of damage modifiers. There technically is also a route in which this Galarian Moltres can get chased with boss's orders.
That could be good.
So this is going to be a nice 2 cards off of this. Finds the Mew, so can draw 1 more card potentially.
Yeah, definitely an option. Boss's orders wasn't played previously. Now can bring up the Urshifu, I guess just wanting to guarantee that Mateusz is able to take the 2 prize KO this turn.
Yeah, and this honestly works out perfectly because it means if this Galarian Moltres comes up to attack, it's a very easy target to get knocked out by the opposing Mew. So this is actually looking very solid now. It looks like it's almost wrapped up even because you can just go back and forth between those Mew VMAXs, dealing 190 damage with the Technoblast. We see the retreat. There is, it looks like, can even copy an attack like Max Miracle to still deal enough damage to take a knockout onto that Urshifu.
It's true.
You're not going to lock yourself out of any weird shenanigans, but no, just going to go ahead and go for the Technoblast instead. Don't think that could be too relevant, so it shouldn't be a big issue, but it looks like we will see the copying of Technoblast, taking the knockout. You have to play to your outs here if you are tied, but at the same time, all Mew VMAX has to do on the bench is come up and announce Technoblast, and the game is over.
Yep, Mateusz with only 2 prize cards remaining can knock out the Sylveon, can knock out the Arceus V-Star. Lots of ways to try and close this game out. Ty will Ultra Ball for that Octillery, so Rapid Strike Search is online. Such a powerful ability for this deck. And Ty, once again, going to make great use of Mateusz's Stadium.
Absolutely finds that Rapid Strike energy as well as the Melanie to potentially get a Pokemon powered up. Just feels like the options are slowly running out for Ty, but still has access for that Rapid Strike Search, has potential to make some plays. We'll see what the options are. A lot to work with. Has the switch as well, so it can go into another target potentially, as it is actually going to be the Melanie.
Onto the active, very nice. Aura Burn does require 2 Darkness Energy and 1 Colorless, so this Water Energy provides the Colorless cost. And now Aura Burn is ready and set up to attack. And Ty just says, even though I'm making this attack, you have the Mew VMAX on the bench to just return the KO. I'm going to scoop it up. We'll head to game number 2. Mateusz wins game 1 of top 8.
Yeah, excellent. You see why Ty was very scared of this matchup because it can snowball out of proportion very, very quickly. But hopefully with going first, we'll be at an advantage to get off that turn 2 attack, hopefully with an Arceus V-Star, but does need to find a several amount of pieces in order to get there. So that's really what it's going to come down to. Do we see a strong start? Can a Path to Peak maybe stick in play? Is there anything else, Chip, you really think Ty needs to do or put into play in order to shift this game back and force a game 3?
Yeah, I think that going back to that first turn, putting the energy on the active Arceus just made it so much less likely you would get off a turn 2 Trinity Nova, especially after your Melanie got discarded on turn number 1. So maybe if that energy attachment had gone somewhere else, we could have seen the turn 2 Trinity Nova, though we knew that in Mateusz's hand Boss's Orders was available anyways, so maybe it genuinely just wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where if they have it, right? And had the bosses early, and it actually ended up working out to keep those throughout the game because you can then chain the boss's orders back and forth between each other, and that's kind of where things can get out of hand. The fact that there has been, I think the main takeaway in this set and as well as other sets throughout this day is the fact that we have seen so little counts of really the main own hand disruption we have right now in Marnie in a lot of these deck lists means that these Inteleon lists, means that these decks that can constantly build these hand sizes up like Mew, like Inteleon lists, like this Urshifu, are free to just build hands up, build these combos up, and it's why Galarian Moltres feels so strong right now.
Absolutely. Marnie's a card that's made its way into a few Mew lists as a one-of for that reason alone, but Mateusz is choosing not to play it today. Not really worried about it. Has other techs like the Pumpkaboo and the Scoop Up Net, of course, which we've seen on stream a few times now.
Absolutely. Players getting set up, ready to go in this game number 2. This is a dire situation for Ty. If you want to go ahead and advance the top 4, you've got to pull something out of your hat of tricks. Mateusz can taste it. He can smell victory to advance the top 4. Every match means more championship points, closer to a stipend.
2 Mew V in the prizes as well as a VMAX. That Crobat VMAX in the prizes for Ty. That is something that could be a big deal, definitely.
That could 100% be a big deal. We'll see what is happening. We're ready to get into things here. Game number 2 of top 8 at the European International Championships. We'll get things started off actually just right away discarding the Rapid Strike energy. Must have some other pretty solid, strong cards in hand. Going to do the first deck search. You already see that Path to the Peak at the top of the deck, making sure those 2 copies are in there. Looks like actually playing a little bit more than that, but nevertheless, still has options to look for Path to the Peak and can potentially throw something together at the end of the day. But it's really going to come down to this opening turn. You have access to Dream Gift, so it should be pretty easy to get an Arceus V-Star out, hopefully, as long as you can get another Pokemon in addition to it. And this is where things are going to get serious, as we see right away the Arceus V getting grabbed, shuffling the deck up, putting it on the bench. Things are looking good to start, but you are still missing a few pieces you need on that first turn.
And this could be the most important game that Tai has played at any point in this tournament. You're down 1 game in top 8. If you lose, your tournament run is over. This is extremely important. Crobat V can draw 3 cards here on the Dark Asset. Really looking for a Sylveon to use Dream Gift, but did not find it and just has to pass over to Mateusz. Can Mateusz pull off an Escape Rope plus Melodious Echo play this turn? That is the big question.
This hand is looking very poor for Tai. There is, besides the Octillery, nothing to play the following turn. However, there is no immediate battle VIP pass right off the bat for Mateusz, so this is going to be a big coin flip. What is the result? It looks like it's a heads.
It is a heads. Very nice. Gotta think this will get a battle VIP pass and just get a bunch of other Pokemon into play.
Yeah, can get those Pokemon out of the deck, accelerate them onto the board. This is exactly what you want to see. So just checking through the deck. We'll be spoiled that there are a few Mew unavailable, it seems. So just checking through to make sure what options are available. It's going to prioritize getting that out, it looks like. So there we go. Battle VIP Pass is getting grabbed. We are going to see the Genesect come to the top of the deck, wants to get some more draw. And it looks like opting to not even grab the Mew yet. Oh, reconsidering it, is going to now go ahead and grab the Mew. Smart choices from Mateusz. Has been piloting this deck excellently, it feels like, all weekend.
Absolutely. Very well played. One of the more intricate decks in the format. I think it gets a little bit of a bad rap because, you know, it feels like it should be pretty straightforward, but there are a lot of really important micro decisions when you're playing Mew VMAX, and one mistake can really cost you later on in a game.
Indeed, there's a lot it can cost, and I have to imagine, yeah, there's just, I mean, for both players, sure, but that Crobat VMAX is something that could definitely be a big deal. It's at the top of the prizes as well. It's not what you want to see, but we are going to start to see some of these Fusion Strike systems rattle off. We also have the Escape Rope on the turn. That is a big turn 1 Escape Rope that can bring this Crobat up. Locking the Remoraid out of the active, has the Power Tablet as well, and this is where things get scary. Also has the turn 1 attachment there with the Fusion Strike energy.
Needs to find
Do we see the Alessa Sparkle? Not quite, but a nice draw there in the Quick Bulk. Get another Genesect out, draw some more cards. If we see this turn 1 Alessa Sparkle, things can get crazy fast.
Yeah, this could get out of hand very quickly in Mateusz's favor. Just this early aggression, taking these early prize cards. Want to keep these damage modifiers around as much as you can because that's how you can hit through the higher HP Pokemon like Arceus V-Star. So that's definitely something I would love to see Mateusz be mindful of. Quick Ball can grab another Genesect as we see, so another Fusion Strike system comes down, and that also gets another Fusion Strike Pokemon in play, so you are able to draw even more cards.
We'll see that second one get played. Still no Alessa Sparkle.
Not yet.
I mean, you could get Zealous and burn the Power Tablets here and try to go a little bit more aggressively. I feel like if you find this knockout, you are in such a commanding lead. But getting rid of all those damage modifiers feels so risky. It looks like even considering playing the Switch, you have already, believe, retreated for turn and played the Switch. So
has not
retreated, actually.
Yeah, hasn't retreated, but by playing the Switch, you have to go into the Meloetta. So Mateusz is all in on this one card. Is it Alessa? It is not. And now you're left with this Meloetta in the active. That was a huge opportunity for Mateusz and just misses on the combo.
Yeah, has the Octillery, but besides that, this hand is pretty lacking. Can at least maybe attach to this Crobat to retreat now that it was brought into the active. Could have also retreated the Remoraid, so it's not as big of a difference, but this is where you have to decide. The hand is not very strong for Tai, maybe even considering a boss's orders onto a Genesect to buy some time. Your opponent just essentially burned a switching option for no cost.
Yeah, it's down 2 switching options as well because Escape Rope was played at the beginning of the turn.
Yeah, down 2 switching options right away, and we are going to see that. So it looks like we may see this Arceus start to power up using that attack to get some energies into play, and that could be a very solid option, especially with something like a Crobat coming down. You could also power up something like the Sylveon with that attack. It really just does a lot to really just get energies into play and accelerate.
Yeah, we could just see Ty go for the Dream Gift here, potentially retreat into the Sylveon, something like that. Or just Karina's Focus and try to draw some cards on the next turn. Has already played Boss this turn, though.
Yeah, already played that Boss's Orders. Not going to be able to play that Karina's Focus to draw, but I think a safe bet to just say, I'm not going to do much here. I don't think you've got a lot to work with. So I'm going to pretty much leave this Crobat up here and say, hey, there's no way you have the pieces, right? Surely there's no Mew VMAX and an Energy, plus a way to get this out of the active. We already see the first two pieces, it looks like. The Double Turbo Energy is there. The Mew VMAX is at the back of the hand. Yep, there's the Mew VMAX. And it looks like we are actually going to burn the Power Tablets, it seems. So we'll see both of those get played. 60 more damage done to the opposing Pokemon with the Fusion Strike Pokemon. Not even a full bench yet, so only going to draw 3 cards. What are the draws?
Oh,
Ooh,
my.
A lot of energy. No way to get that out of the
energies.
active.
Tries to put a Choice Belt on the Pokemon with the Tool Jammer on it already. Doesn't quite work like that. Can throw it on the Meloetta, though, and is now only going to see 1 card here. Gonna just scoop up net, discard the Fusion Strike Energy and that Choice Belt just to draw 1 extra card, and it's another tablet and another Fog Crystal. That's not a good hand.
Yeah, you can go ahead and at least grab another Mew with this Fog Crystal.
Yeah.
Get an extra card off of this Genesect, but with the amount of switching outs that are left in this deck, I have to wonder, you've gone through a switch, you've gone through an escape rope, you've got 1 switch left in your deck, so only 1 option left. You've already committed the energy for turn onto this Mew. You have another Double Turbo in hand, so this won't last for longer than a turn, but 1 turn can make or break a game in the Pokemon trading card game.
Yeah, can just attach the Double Turbo next turn, like you mentioned, to the Genesect, so that is a retreating option, but that means that this turn is probably just going to end in a pass for Mateusz, and still has 1 more Fusion Strike system. Looking for that last switch, does not find it, though.
Yeah, looks like should have 5 cards in there. Ended up not grabbing anything to bench off of that Fog Crystal, and it's just going to be a pass over, and this is now a big opportunity. The Octillery will have a way to pivot out of the active with that Tower of Water, so it is not stuck in the active. There are a lot of options to look through. It looks like we're going to see things start out with a Pal Pad, so a very early Pal Pad here from Ty, but I think it's just prioritizing drawing more cards off of this Karina's Focus.
Exactly. Yeah, it just needs to find more cards, and the main card being the Arceus V-Star. If you can find Arceus V-Star this turn, you've got everything else you need, because Starbirth can get you the other pieces. Of course, Rapid Strike Search can get that Tower of Waters for the movement option, and then Arceus V-Star can get you the energy to attach, so you can use Trinity Nova on this turn and load up a Pokemon on the bench.
So it looks like eyeing up discard piles. See, a lot of Power Tablets are already discard pile. I believe that is 4 Power Tablet actually gone already. So there will be no more damage modifiers besides Choice Belt for this game.
Yeah, that is definitely something to note. There is no way to 1-hit KO an Arceus V-Star now, because also Fusion Strike Energies hit the discard pile.
2, 3 cards. No, draws the 2 supporters in a path. At least Path to Peak can slow Mateusz down. But at the same time, what really is your line of play? I feel like ending your turn off with a Dream Gift provides a lot of value at this turn, but actually just going to play a little bit riskier, has a supporter card already, will now utilize that Rapid Strike Surge, so we can finally see maybe another Pokemon come out into play. There are a lot of options to look at, and at the end of the day, Octillery is providing a lot of value for this deck. It allows this deck to really function at the end of the day.
Yes, very good. One of the key pieces for a lot of Rapid Strike decks. Of course, Rapid Strike Urshifu isn't really playing it right now. Some Urshifu lists in the past have utilized it, though, but very good with the Sylveon, and also very good in the Rapid Strike Malamar, which we saw earlier on today on stream.
Looks like eyeing up a few options. It is going to be the Karina's Focus at the top of the deck. Sort of what you would consider a mediocre draw supporter, similar to Bianca, which we saw back in the Black and White era. Draws you up till you have 6 cards in your hand. But the fact that it is searchable with Octillery means that it is a consistent option for you to be able to grab. And sometimes consistency is better than power.
Yep, just getting that consistent search, very, very good. And Mateusz is going to cut Ty's deck. And it's just going to be a pass. Cannot use Dream Gift because of the Path to the Peak in play. Mateusz does not have the replacement stadium this turn, is just going to attach and retreat the Genesect. Can get a KO with the Cross Fusion Strike, but in this situation, I almost wonder if Ty could just go for a continuous boss stall play, something like that.
Yeah, wow, and has to actually use Technoblast to take the knockout, and we know almost all the switching options are gone, so we need to have to power up the second Mew VMAX to do something with this, as there are a lot of supporter options, but things are looking good. Marnie has the potential. You have Peonia as well, as we're actually going to see the Peonia get played, so we'll go ahead and grab some prizes. This is a pretty risky play, though, is banking off of finding something, but oh no, doesn't draw to the Arceus V-Star. It was the rightmost prize through the left one. I think that has to be maybe what you're looking for, but at this point, you really don't have a way to get that out and damage, so this kind of becomes a line of play where you really aren't doing much with this Arceus this turn.
Not ideal, and I think even Ty wouldn't have minded finding the Crobat VMAX, because then you can at least Trinity Charge onto it. There is a good chance that this Arceus doesn't get KO'd. Your opponent didn't do anything last turn. They didn't play a Stadium, they didn't use any Fusion Strike systems, and they didn't even... I mean, they had to attach an energy. They didn't play a switching card, so you know that their options are potentially limited. So there's a chance your Arceus doesn't get KO'd this coming turn.
Yeah, and I believe there is a Tool Jammer on that active, and with all 4 power tablets being gone, there is essentially no way that this Mew VMAX in the active. The bench one potentially could still with a Choice Belt, but it looks like we will actually see the Trinity Nova go ahead and power it up, and it will go ahead and accelerate the 3 energies onto the board. And this is where Trinity Charge, Trinity Charge going to go ahead and power up the board. Both Trinity attacks on the V and the V-Star. It looks like eyeing up throwing energies onto the Crobat V, which should signal that there are some options to go ahead and VMAX that from Mateusz. Don't know how much deck knowledge is available.
Oh, a great top deck from Mateusz. Finds the Rose Tower in order to replace Path to the Peak. And now Fusion Strike system is back online.
Yeah, that's a big turn here. Is really looking for a way to get another Mew VMAX powered up to deal some solid damage. As we do see the Quick Ball, we'll just go ahead and thin out, grabbing nothing, but more importantly, getting the hand so there are less cards to draw up more with that Fusion Strike system ability. And this is going to be some big draws. Mateusz needs to find the Mew VMAX and an energy, or the last switch that's in deck.
Yep, needs to find one of those pieces, one of those combos in order to keep things moving. Alessa Sparkle onto a Meloetta theoretically could have been a play as well, but it does appear that the attachment has already come down to the Mew V, so that won't be an option. Rotom Phone grabs a card, puts it on top of the deck, and now that is something that Mateusz can draw into off of a Fusion Strike system.
Yeah, the ability to stack your deck with Rotom Phone has found its home here in Genesect. Mew, being able to just find the exact card you want. If you're only drawing 1 card, it's fine if it's the exact card you want. Looks like going to activate the Rose Tower first, finds Ultra Ball and a Quick Ball. So looks like Quick Ball will just go ahead and pitch the Ultra Ball away into the discard pile, shuffling the deck up. Nothing to be grabbed, but more importantly, it's another 2 cards you're going to be drawing off of this first Fusion Strike system.
Just thinning the hand down. You want to draw as much as possible, especially when you're trying to go for a big combo, needing to find multiple cards in order to pull off a KO.
Absolutely. It's going to be a big Fusion Strike system for 5 cards to start things out. We'll see what the draws are. We've identified the options. Looks like actually has committed the Fusion Strike energy already to the active, so this is going to be big. What are the cards? Has Ultra Ball, can thin the hand down to 0.
And the Alessa Sparkle as well. Very nice. Needs to find the Choice Belt in deck as well as the Mew VMAX. Oh, but it doesn't grab it. Oh, only plays 2 Mew VMAX. Yeah. That's right. And 1 is in the prize cards. That's right. I forgot that this list only has 2 Mew VMAX in it. And in this instance, since 1 is prized, Mateusz only has this active.
Yeah, the fact that that is prized is a big deal because it means now the only option available this turn is the switch to be able to allow this Mew VMAX to attack. 3 cards off the second Fusion Strike system. Finds the switch, though, so he finds the card needed to be able to re-attack with this Mew.
But
not
cannot get a KO,
though.
yeah.
Not going to be a knockout, but you're still pushing yourself towards a better mapping. But again, all those power tablets being down, I feel like is a big issue here.
Can get a KO on Crobat, though, and that is potentially what Ty is going for. Needs to find Boss's Orders in order to bring that up, because if if Ty does find the VMAX, which we know is prized, Mateusz doesn't have any way of knowing that, but in theory, if Tai could find the VMAX, that would be an easy way to just sweep through the Mew VMAX board.
Third final Fusion Strike system finds the boss's orders.
The very first card off of the draw, exactly what Mateusz needed. And now Crobat V will go down. No option for Crobat VMAX, even though it was prized.
He even gets to put another card on the top of the deck to start things out. Has another boss's orders.
Protecting against the Marnie here.
Look how thin that deck is. There's 10 cards left there.
Yeah, I mean, does Path to the Peak even really matter that much anymore? Because Mateusz has a board that's pretty well set up. No Mew VMAX, I suppose, but there's not even any switching cards left to try to dig for.
Yeah, has found everything that has been needed this turn. We'll be able to take a knockout, copying that Techno Blast with that cross Fusion Strike attack. We'll see it go ahead and be brought up into the active. Tool Jammer as well, preventing anything like big charm shenanigans to maybe have some math, but mainly would prefer another tool, I feel. But at this point, gonna just go ahead and signal the cross Fusion Strike. Gonna go ahead and take the knockout with Techno Blast, drawing into 2 prizes. But yeah, that Mew being at the top means it's not gonna be drawn here. So if there is a way to deal with this Mew VMAX, there could potentially be no other attackers, because we've seen these plays where the Meloetta, I don't think, has really too many Fusion Strike energy left in the deck to be able to attack with.
Ty's gonna play quick ball, maybe grabbing out something like that Galarian Moltres V. I would love to see Ty try and power that card up in one single turn. The way you could do that is with a Melanie play. That can be a little difficult to set up, though. So that, I mean, it's a lot to ask, but that would be so strong if Ty could make it happen.
Yeah, Melanie is a very strong attack option. I think looking through, has not used the V-Star power still, so it makes it a lot easier to find those specific pieces, as there we see the Galarian Moltres. This could be the opening.
Yeah, did attach to the active,
Yeah.
So since that attachment has already come down, Ty's best option this turn is going to be a Trinity Nova.
Yeah, Trinity Nova is probably what we are going to see. The fact that there's such a fragile Remoraid on the bench means that the mapping is technically there to knock out a V-Star and then take the final prize on that Remoraid, even with all of your damage modifiers being gone. As we're going to see a Marnie, this could be maybe an attempt for Marnie Path to the Peak, but at this point, it feels like there is not a lot of options. The boss's orders was stacked on top with Rotom Phone, and finds the other boss as well that was still left remaining in the deck. And this is where it starts to get out of hand. Thing to note, though, this Mew VMAX has no way to attack next turn. It just is not possible.
He's just drawing 1 card, 2 cards here with Crobat. Is there an Arceus V-Star? I still don't see one.
No, I don't see one at all. Has the Quick Ball at minimum, so can get rid of these Battle VIP Pass, but especially in a deck like this that isn't as turbo, these really start to clunk up the hand a lot more than it would be in Mateusz's deck.
No Arceus V-Star. That is absolutely brutal for Ty. What can you do in this spot? I mean, get in there with Power Edge, I guess. You're only dealing 110 damage. I mean, this is looking tougher and tougher the longer this game goes on.
Yeah, I think to not Ty's information, knowing that Mew VMAX is still prized is a big deal. Otherwise, it'd be, oh, all he needs is energy and a choice spell to take the knockout. But we know that I think hitting in is still correct, because there is no way for this Mew VMAX to attack and damage. Not to say Meloetta isn't online. There are still a lot of options to look at when we go over to Mateusz's turn. But this is a tough spot. This is where the thinking really becomes difficult. What do you want to grab? What do you prioritize? It looks like eyeing up. You could just tell the frustration. I mean, has the Tower of Waters at minimum, can limit the draw via Rose Tower. But, I mean, Power Edge for 110, it looks like.
No, just going to go with the Trinity Charge.
Yeah, wow. It's just going to charge up the board to try to get this Moltres online for the following turn.
Yeah, it gets the energy out of the deck. I assume this is going to go on to Moltres. And if Mateusz can find a boss... Actually, I don't think Mateusz can knock out this Moltres, right? Has boss's orders, but there's no Mew VMAX in order to dig for the KO with a Choice Belt play.
But this is big. Can take the knockout this turn onto the Remoraid, and then the following turn, a single boss's orders will potentially be able to close things out if this Moltres attacks. However, if not, it's still put in a situation that for the rest of the game, it can attack because it would knock itself out after taking 190 damage from something like a Techno Blast.
So we'll retreat into the Mew V. Psychic Leap can take the KO. Now, Psychic Leap is optional if you want to shuffle it into the deck or not. So I feel like Mateusz will probably leave it in play. Does not take the Mew VMAX in the prizes. Finds a Fog Crystal. Not too big of a deal because that Mew VMAX is now on the bench. So all Mateusz will need is a boss's orders pretty much.
Yeah, nothing right now will be knocked out by 190 HP.
Right,
Big
unless
Charm does have, the Crobat actually smartly attaching the Big Charm to the Crobat,
yeah, good play
right?
for sure. Ty is finally able to get the Arceus V-Star, and now we will finally see the Starbirth come out, getting any 2 cards from the deck and putting them into the hand. And if it's so awkward, though, because if Ty attacks with this Moltres, then Mateusz just wins. Cross Fusion Strike is enough to get that KO.
Yeah, I feel like going in with something like the Sylveon VMAX may be the best bet. There are a lot of options to work with, but at the time being, is going to search out and try and find this Judge.
Needs 2 more different benched Pokemon of different types in order to get the KO. So
yeah,
that is something to consider. A lot of those Rimmeraids have been KO'd at this point, right? Or a Rimmerade into Noctillery. So I don't know if Ty even has enough different types of Pokemon to put in play.
Yeah, we have the Sylveon V, and then...
And if you put Urshifu in play, that's an easy boss target.
Yeah, you can't put Urshifu V into play. I'm thinking what options you even have at this point.
If you could just get 1 more in play and then find Choice Belt, that would work. That puts you up to dealing 160 base damage plus the 30 from Choice Belt. That's 190, enough to KO the Mew V.
We will see the Starbirth V-Star power get used. It grabbed Path the Peak and a Judge. So trying to go for a disruptive strategy. And notably, it will take the boss's orders out of Mateusz's hand and put it onto any place in the deck. Not just on the bottom, it will just be shuffled back in, as we do see the Dire Flame Wings going to go ahead and accelerate that Dark Energy. I think realizing, hey, if I attack with this, I mean, it would be a crazy play if the boss up the Mew VMAX, because we know that isn't an option, but it actually going to go into the Arceus V-Star, and this is a smart play. There is the Path to Peak. After retreating, so correctly sequencing it, retreating, then bumping the Stadium, has the Judge in hand. I think just debating, is there anything else I play? Is going to play the Sylveon down for that extra type later on, and this is going to be a big Judge. We'll see what Mateusz is able to draw into. You see how Lil's hesitant there. Do I shuffle that in, right? Because so used to putting the cards onto the bottom of the deck.
Yeah, I want to make sure you are aware which of these disruption supporters your opponent is playing, because how you prepare for them is very different. If you accidentally shuffled your hand into your deck off of a Marnie, that would not be very good.
Yeah, that would be a game loss is what it would be most of the time. As it looks like the cards here from Mateusz are going to pretty much make or break this game. I mean, nothing on the board would be knocked out. Sylveon V would survive with just 10 HP
That's
remaining.
Right.
So it would be so close, but not quite enough. And by committing these fusion energy to the active, it means there are not a lot of options. Look at that, a big-time draw finds the Stadium. And the Pumpkaboo has 2 options to work with. However, just because the Stadium bump is there, again, we have always said there's so much of the deck that has already been gone through. I don't know what other options there are. The Crobat VMAX, Ty has knowledge of where the Crobat VMAX is. He knows it's in the top 3 prizes, so has a 60% chance, 66% chance to draw into that Crobat VMAX. So we'll see if that is what the draw is. Gonna just go ahead and first look through the deck, see if there's any energy to accelerate. There is not. There's a Rapid Strike energy. Cannot accelerate that though, as it is not a basic energy. It's still an Avery deck as well. Could be a great disruption card, especially if this bench fills up. But it's gonna shuffle things up, and I think we need to look at these prizes, because this is gonna be big prizes here to see what gets grabbed.
It'll be on to Mateusz's turn after this prize. What is the grab?
Found the Crobat. He got it.
Okay. Okay.
Wow. Needs that to attack to get a one-hit knockout onto this Mew, because if you attack in with something like the...
Well, there's no energies on the Crobat.
Oh, yeah, there is no. Yeah.
I don't know that that's going to happen. I feel like you're going to just have to go in with the Moltres, potentially on a Mew VMAX, and just hope that would somehow be enough.
Yeah, I believe there is maybe 1 double turbo energy left in the deck. That's going to be the last way for potentially this benched Mew to attack, as we are going to see the Fusion Strike energy get played down. There's the Rose Tower, going to get rid of that. First drawing 1 card, not what you want to see, but here start the Fusion Strike systems. Draws into Cramomatics.
Two Cramomatics in hand. There's the heads on the first one. Mateusz grabs the boss's orders, can bring up the Sylveon. Is there a damage modifier another way?
Oh, he's just attacking.
That's 190 damage. That's not enough. Doesn't Sylveon have 200 hit points?
It does.
brings up the Crobat.
That's a...
And it looks like the game is over here. Mateusz is going to be the winner. Moving on to top 4. Must have been something else going on there that we're not quite catching up with. Mateusz wins the game and moves on to the top 4.
Yeah, finish the game nevertheless. Mateusz is going to go ahead and move on. Mew VMAX is making the run through the tournament. It's
the Tool Jammer.
The Tool Jammer on the Crobat. Yeah.
So the Big Charm does not work. You know, just like Justin Bakari forgot about that Tool Jammer there on you and I, it slipped right past us. Really a card that's put in some work for Mateusz in this tournament. Congratulations, very well played, and now moves on to top 4. Certainly the best accomplishment in this player's Pokemon career. Well done.
Yeah, Tool Jammer playing in a lot of work in this matchup specifically. Can shut off a lot of cards. But Big Charm being shut off is big, and that's probably the reason Mateusz was able to take down so many of these Arceus decks is without the Big Charm, Arceus is a lot more feasible to knock out. It's that one less damage modifier that you need, and it worked out very well. Able to secure a 2-0 victory here in top 8.
Very convincing.
Going into top 4, we'll have to see how that bracket shapes out exactly. But things are looking pretty solid here, especially as you are moving on, getting settled. Most likely going to be up against a Rapid Strike Urshifu. Have to see exactly what sides they're on. There is, again, a potential that a Rapid Strike Urshifu is guaranteed finals if the 2 winners are both put into that same top 4 bracket. But nevertheless, congratulations. Is going to go ahead and move on to top 4. Best accomplishment so far, it seems, in their Pokemon career. And not a lot of people could top that. Top 4 international championships, and not even done yet. Still has the top 4 match to play. Could be an international champion. That would be a big jump in results.
Absolutely. Very well played by Mateusz, and very well played by Ty. Ty said yesterday that this is not a great matchup for him, and we kind of saw that. It seemed like the Mew just kind of got to do whatever it wanted and eventually was able to close things out and win the game. Sylveon, an awesome deck. Very cool to see it making top 8. Not something I think anyone, either of us, would have expected, definitely, coming into this event. So always love to see it whenever a player picks a deck that they love and is able to take it to a really good finish.
Yeah, having a deck you love and having your baby, your creation, something you cooked up in the lab do well is always an awesome